Hey guys, first of all, I do apologize if you hear any vroom vrooms. That's because I'm recording this on my phone and everything, so I do apologize for that. Those are like notifications, Facebook message, and all that. And if you hear a big vroom, which is not likely here, that's from my bank indicating a decline or something. Also, I want to let you know that as you can hear right there, getting over a bit of an allergy cough. It's that time of year where you either have the sniffles or you have a cough, and it's not really like a cold and all that. It's just basically, allergies that are tickling your system, and you feel normal anyway. But still, I do apologize for that. But with that said, let's get on with this audio video, shall we? So yesterday, Disney decided to drop the teaser trailer for Zootopia 2, which will be released on Thanksgiving or during Thanksgiving of this year, November 26, 2025. And it was I'm trying to find the right word to say. It was a montage trailer, if you will, to kind of give you an idea of not only what the story potentially is about, what it's potentially about, but also the fact of who's going to be, in the movie, either cameo-wise, a small role-wise, if you will, potentially big role-wise. You get the idea. Basically, it's giving you an idea of who to expect, what areas they're going to be exploring and everything. And basically, the story, as far as we know, is Nick and Judy, who I guess are having partner issues, if you will, because they have to see a therapist. Yeah, they have a partner therapist because, even though they're both partners, they're on the same, cop squad and all that, Zootopia Police Department, we can only assume it's due to their differences of how they approach things. Like Nick, he's still kind of like a hustler, and everything, likes to do things under the table, and Judy's not really about that unless it's necessary. I mean, we've seen her do it at the end of Zootopia when they got Don Bellwether to confess, unbeknownst to herself, her whole scheme and everything as to what happened, as to what took place, why she was behind it. So Judy is not not above that. She's done it before, just briefly. She knows how to basically make something, look, something that's fake and pretend look real and everything. So we know she's capable of that. So she's not above it. She's not above it, but I think because, she is, I guess, a little higher up now as a cop a little bit, but, basically partners with Nick. She's trying to, I guess, try to get him away from doing that. But Nick, I think, in my opinion, and this might be why they're going through this therapy deal, Nick feels that potentially, maybe, that they have to, I guess, go and do this underhanded stuff at times to kind of solve some cases. Basically, instead of playing it straightforward, you got to play the game. You got to basically hustle, somebody to outwit them or whatever. That's just my opinion. I think that might be why they have the therapy thing going on. But the main story about it as well is they have to go undercover when they encounter a reptilian snake named Gary Da Snake. Yeah, Gary D.A. Snake, if you will. They have to go undercover, excuse me, when he comes into town, because when he comes into town, he basically throws all of Zootopia or Zootopiopolis, if you will, upside down. He flips it upside down, because when you look at Zootopia, you look at Zootopiopolis, Zootopolis, if you will. When you look at it, it's a mixture of all kind of mammals, except for reptiles and birds and so on. So we're apparently going to be visiting some of those areas, down the line in this movie, because we're also going to be visiting, along with Judy and Nick and Gary, different parts of Zootopia that are either extensions of Zootopiopolis itself, or basically areas of Zootopia that basically those in Zootopolis, if you will, want nothing to do with. So it's going to be interesting to see where where they go with this, especially, like I said, with the characters that are coming back, the new characters that are debuting, and so on. And yes, Dawn Bellwether is back in the film. She is back and everything. She's part of the montage of characters at the end of the teaser trailer. And, she's got this look on her face like she's up to something, but we don't know what. Because the last time we saw her, she was behind bars. She was behind bars and everything. So obviously she might, in my opinion, play a role in this. Or she might get interrogated and questioned as to what she knows about what's going on and everything, and why, Gary the Snake has come to Zootopiopolis, if you will, Zootopia, if you will. Why he's come into the city portion and everything. She might be interrogated, she might be asked questions and all that, or she might be involved. She is the kind of villain that at the end, when you have a twist villain and everything with some movies, that if you do a follow-up, that villain basically, that became the twist villain, that villain will full-on be involved in the next film's plot. But again, not too sure about that as of right now. Not too sure about that as of right now. But, it seems that Gary the Snake, from what I last heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's not much of a predator, when it comes to like eating other animals and everything. I think I read somewhere he's supposed to be like a vegetarian, maybe. And, because he's a vegetarian, he doesn't feel like he fits in where he lives, and, he doesn't want to be like pressured or something. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's why he's showing up in Zootopiopolis, if you will, because he wants to have, a new beginning. He wants to get away, from being looked at as another snake that's a predator that goes after other animals, when he's not someone that likes to eat meat. He's more of a vegetarian. So that to me could play an interesting role if what I read from an earlier description of who the character is and what they're about, comes to pass. So it's going to be interesting. And apparently it does feel like, Judy and Nick going undercover, like I said, they're going to probably side. It looks like, just based on this teaser trailer, that they're going to side with him, and possibly, because they're going to side with him and try to figure out what's going on, that's either going to aggravate the partnership more, or it's going to bring them closer together. Because, I think what's going to happen is that both are going to learn through the situation that, they have to basically, be equal in every way, and that's including listening and participating in the ideas that each other have. So I could see, them, the partnership getting closer and more of an understanding, if you will, with this undercover mission that's going on, to where basically Judy's going to realize, okay, Nick, some of his methods I may have not agreed upon at first, but in certain situations, yes, they are needed. So I could see Judy being in that kind of a situation, to where she'll understand now why Nick does what he does, even despite the fact that it's not, not the right thing to do, not the lawful thing to do. She's going to realize, oh, in certain cases, you got to do that. And then Nick, he's going to learn in turn that even though he may not agree with some of Judy's methods of doing things on the straight, on the up and straight, if you will, the straight and narrow, and, more following the rules, being, following the law kind of deal, he's going to learn that in certain situations as well, that does come in handy. So I think it's going to advocate the partnership. It's going to be like, it's going to really test their partnership, advocate it, make them kind of edgy towards each other, advocate, kind of advocated, if you will, just like a typical Disney film. But in the end, I think it's going to bring them closer together as partners, and maybe even more, because a lot of people have been wanting those two to get together. That's a fact. They've been wanting it for a while. Now, whether or not they do it, it's up to, what the directors and the writers have written for the movie and what the story is going to be about. But people want that to happen. And maybe part of the therapy, is they're going to find out that the reason they're getting at each other, or the reason they're having this discourse with each other, is maybe because of the fact that, they both care about each other more than just as partners and as friends. And I think that's what's really going to, make them really test that partnership and everything, but then also in the end make them realize, hey, maybe we are meant to be together, not just as partners, but as more. But we'll see what they do. Now, as far as this Gary the Snake goes, we know there's going to be an antagonist. We don't know if he's got ties to Don Bellwether. I have a feeling he might. We don't know yet. Again, she might get interrogated and may let them know that she knows something, and she might try to make a bargain with them of, hey, I'll tell you what you need, but you have to find a way to get me out early. Basically get her out on parole or something. So I could see her playing a pivoted role, in the situation with the main villain, the cloaked villain we see in the teaser trailer. I could see her playing a very integral role, if you will, in the whole situation. But again, as far as Gary the Snake goes, to me, this villain, is after him because I've got a feeling what it is if this villain is a reptile himself, and it could be one of the characters, because we see what AC Racebest said in his reaction video, looks like a Rango iguana-like character in a cowboy outfit. They're looking at him like, okay, that might be the guy under the cloak. So again, if it is him, because he is a reptile, we'll see. But still, I've got a feeling the reason this cloaked figure is after Gary the Snake, because obviously that's going to be the main antagonist outside of maybe, not Mary, but Don Bellwether, or I'm getting tongue-tied here, guys, I do apologize. Don Bellwether, outside of her maybe being involved as well. I could see that this cloaked figure, chasing after Gary, and if the cloaked figure is a reptile himself, of the predatorial kind that basically believes all reptiles like himself and Gary should eat meat, that they are the predators and they should eat meat. They should eat the prey that is in Zootopia, in Zootopia and beyond. So I could see him basically going after Gary to try to persuade Gary, to convince Gary to, give in to his inner predator, and eat meat, and eat the meat that's around him, especially, when it comes to Nick and Judy. And I think this might be where things get a little interesting, because we know that, and it might be a callback, 9 years have passed, for us, 9 years have passed for us, if you will, not for them. But anyway, 9 years have passed, for us. And, you can come up with all kind of crazy ideas, to incorporate into a story to make it more interesting, or you can call back to one of the original ideas from the original film. So I think what's going to happen, and I was just thinking about this, if this Gary the Snake character is indeed vegetarian and all that in nature, in nature and in belief, but he's being pursued by this villain, this cloaked villain character who could be, a predatorial reptile himself that, believes on eating the meat of the prey. I could see Judy and Nick coming up with an idea. Because they came up with the idea that they did to get Don Bellwether to expose herself as, the villain, as the woman that was behind everything that was happening in Zootopia and Zootopolis in the first film. So they basically came up with the idea to where, they would replace, the night owl thing, if you will, the night owl, I'm getting tongue-tied again, guys. I do apologize. The night owl flowers, if you will, with blueberries. But they made it seem like Nick got affected. He was going feral. He caught up to Judy, and he basically went to chop her neck and kill her. And instead, they basically show and humiliate Don Bellwether by basically exposing the fact that, oh, no, Nick wasn't affected. Those, the night owls that you were looking for, guess what? they're not in that. We replaced them with blueberries, from Judy's farm and everything. But the way they did it is that they made it look like he had killed her, and then she decided to overact and all that, just to basically show Don Bellwether that her plan backfired. And then they basically exposed the fact that she got recorded thanks to Judy's carrot recorder. And basically that's what caused her to go behind bars. But anyway, to get to the point, I can see them doing a callback to that, but in a different way. Because if Gary the Snake is vegetarian and everything, then maybe what will happen, because here's what I'm thinking. He may not have any teeth. I got to look at the thing again, but it doesn't look like he has teeth, really. But if he is a vegetarian, I could see them coming up with an idea that might seem gross at first, but to basically show that, hey, I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say, guys. This is what happens when you do things uncut and unscripted. You got to think about things on the fly and everything, and sometimes you have little brain farts and everything, so I do apologize. Because the idea I think they could come up with, and I don't know if they'll put it in there, but it just seems so obvious that they're going to probably do something like it, or at least identical to it. I can see them coming up with an idea to where they get, basically, like I say, a callback to how they, exposed Don Bellwether in the first film. I could see them doing something to where they can expose the truth about who this villain is and what they're about, maybe the connection with Don Bellwether or something. We're not really sure, if that might be, where they go. But I could see them coming up with an idea to where Gary swallows, Judy. I could see it. Now, again, you might say, well, that's something that Disney won't do. True. You might think it's something Disney won't do, but guess what? It would be a callback to the first film. And all they'd have to do is come, and again, all they'd have to do plan-wise, if this is part of the story, again, I'm not totally sure, because the movie's not out yet. I've never read the script or anything, so I don't know. But if this is what they do, because it feels like this might be something they lead into, I could see them coming up with an idea of having Gary swallow whole Judy into his stomach, and then basically show whoever this cloaked villain is, turn around and show the bulge of Judy, her, like her imprint, her body visage, if you will, from within Gary. Basically show that, hey, here she is, she swallowed. I ate her. And then basically when that kind of, I guess, in story, convinces the villain, like, okay, you're good. You're good and everything. So you're basically like, let's say it has the villain say, okay, you proved yourself, you're good. You can go and be free and everything, or you can go and meet us here in a few hours or something like that, and we'll let you in on stuff. So I could see something like that happening to where after, like, let's say he proves himself, quote unquote, and the villain and whoever else is involved leaves, I could see him spitting Judy up, going like, because they'll give like a signal, or they'll find a signal, and he'll basically be like, okay, coast is clear, and everything, and out comes Judy, and I could see Judy joking about something like, after this is all said and done, I'm going to need a shower, a long shower, and everything, because, again, the reason she would say that is because she just was in the gullet of a snake. But point I'm getting at is I could see them doing that because it just feels like it's going to call for that, but we'll see. We shall see what they do. But overall, I like the little teaser montage they gave us. I like the fact that we're getting a lot of characters back. Shakira's coming back to voice Gazelle. We're getting Jennifer Greenwood, I think that's the name of Jennifer. Starts with a G. I'm glad we're getting her back as Judy, and Jason Bateman as Nick. Really cool to see that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I mean, I am a Zootopia fan. Don't get me wrong. I am a big Zootopia fan. I have a Judy plush. I have a Gazelle plush. I have the original poster in my room. I have the soundtrack. I have the movie, if you will, and everything. I have a tin I have a tin case, activity case, if you will, that they sold, at Walmart and places. So I like Zootopia. I really do. Heck, I have the Disney Infinity figures of Nick and Judy. So that should tell you that I'm a huge fan. I really am. I'm a huge fan of the characters, and I cannot wait for this movie to come out. I really can't. And if it's anything, if it's as good as the other one, if not more, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge praise for it. If it's as good, if not better, I should say, than the first. And again, I feel you're going to get a callback. You're going to get a callback of finding out the truth, getting the villain to expose, the secrets and all that. And you're going to have it done by basically having Gary have to do something that might seem disgusting, but only temporary to fool the villains. And then when the coast is clear, he's going to have to spit her out and basically be like, sorry about that and everything. And I can see, again, Judy being like, after this is all said and done, I'm going to need a long, hot shower, And who knows? Who knows? Again, this might lead to Nick and Judy being together too eventually down the line. But we don't know that. But again, you look at the fact they have a therapist, that to me tells a lot of, that tells a lot. That says a lot right there. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys, on Zootopia 2. What did you think of the teaser trailer montage, or the montage teaser trailer, if you will, to give you an idea of what the movie's going to be, or what the movie's probably going to I'm getting tongue-tied here again. I was just trying to check my computer. I do apologize. But like I said, let me know what your thoughts are on the montage trailer itself. Let me know if you agree with some of the things I said. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to like the areas and the characters coming back and being introduced? Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts and everything. And I'm just shutting some windows here because I'm about to turn on the cooler. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are, guys, on all that. What are you looking forward to the most? Again, do you agree with my assumption of some of the things that might happen, like the callback to how they exposed Don Bellwether in the first film? Do you think they might do something similar to that, but this time have Gary temporarily eat Judy, and then you see like her visage, body imprint, on his belly, because she's inside of him temporarily to prove, hey, he is Predator, to basically get the information they need. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that might happen? How do you feel about, again, the story, the storyline, or part of the storyline where they have partner therapy? Do you think that's going to lead to something between Judy and Nick maybe getting together? Because it feels like it might lead in that direction. Let me know. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on that. Get your thoughts and everything. And like I said, until next time, comment down below, live chat during the premiere if you haven't already. Like the video, ring the bell for notification. Also, like the video, ring the bell for notification, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Click on the links in the description to find my content elsewhere outside of YouTube. You can find me at iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Radio Public, Overcast, and if you look real hard, I'm sure you'll probably find me on SiriusXM. You can also find me at rumble.com at BWRoses, odyssey.com at BWRoses-5, VENMO at BWRoses. You can also find me at patreon.com at BWRoses, where I have a new video up under the $3 and $5 tier. $1 tier also helps out. You can also support me through Venmo and Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated, especially with me having to get ready to pay my monthly bill and everything when it comes to the teeth. You can help me out there. You can also support me through my Teespring store. Find merchandise there you can't find anywhere else. Also, guys, check me and follow me over at places like TikTok at BWRoses. You can also find me at Twitter, aka X, at BWRoses. And you can also find me at Blue Sky at BWRoses. But guys, give me your thoughts overall. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to Zootopia 2? What did you like about the montage teaser trailer? And again, do you agree with some of the things I said and about what could potentially happen in the film? And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. But again, give me your thoughts. Love to hear each and every one of them.